The protocol begins with a single, uncomfortable truth. The human mind is like a broken radio, trapped on the wrong frequency. We grow so accustomed to this state so early in life that we simply stop noticing it. It becomes the quiet hum, the constant background noise of an entire life. A constant, uncontrolled movement of thought. A stream that never stops, not even for a second. Fragments of phrases, borrowed meanings, random associations, echoes of old dialogues. We have grown used to calling this the natural operation of the mind, as if this is how it was always meant to be. But if you slow down and look closer, something terrifying becomes obvious. This stream almost never obeys you. It flows on its own, changes direction without warning, hijacks your attention, and drags it where you never intended to go. At some point, a quiet, deeply uncomfortable question arises. If you do not control this process entirely, then who does? And is it possible to change the very principle of how this system works? This is where everyday psychology ends and a line of research begins. One that in the early 1980s interested not philosophers or mystics, but organizations concerned with only one thing: does it work? Because if attention can be not just directed, but stabilized, resonantly amplified, and brought to a state of laser-like precision, it ceases to be a passive process. It becomes a tool, a weapon, a mechanism for breaching reality itself. You carry within you the result of millions of years of biological architecture. A system of colossal complexity that can be called a bio-quantum engine. It is capable not only of processing data, but of altering the very fabric of perception, restructuring the world as you see it, based on the coherence of the observer. The problem is, in most cases, this engine has never even been started. For your entire life, you have used your mind as a passive interface, a screen through which external noise is broadcast without end. Attention is not utilized, it is merely spent. Potential is not realized, it is scattered. It is comparable to having a nuclear reactor capable of powering a metropolis, yet using its heat only to warm your dinner. The difference is that we are not talking about electricity. We are talking about the mechanics of reality itself, the one you consider objective and immovable. Fort Meade, Maryland. Deep underground, in a shielded room, isolated from all external electromagnetic signals and sensory stimuli, an experiment was conducted that was never intended to leave the classified files. In the center of a void black room sat a man. No sensors, no instruments, no landmarks, only silence, thick and oppressive, and a task requiring impossible concentration. To hold attention in a state of absolute unidirectional focus. At that moment, theoretical debate ended. The validation of the protocol began. Deprived of habitual sensory anchors, The operative worked not with imagination, but with the mechanism of data access itself. By collapsing his attention into a single pulsing point, he entered a state where perception shifted. With surgical precision, he began to describe a target thousands of miles away, a classified Soviet location to which he could have no physical access. His reports included room structures, equipment blueprints, and details hidden behind meters of concrete and lead. This was not a hunch. This was remote viewing, a direct capture of data bypassing the physical senses. The information was cross-referenced with satellite imagery and agents on the ground, and it matched. It became clear this was not a miracle. This was a technical result of the protocol. If consciousness is brought into a state of ideal coherence, it gains access to information beyond the standard limitations of the biological body. If you admit this, even as a theoretical possibility, the main question changes. It is no longer about whether a human is capable of the exceptional. It is about how catastrophically limited is the mode of perception you have been taught to call normal. If your normal is just 1% of the reactor's power, imagine what happens when you activate the other 99. Why do you feel limited? Why does your intent, even the strongest, so often falter before reaching the goal, whether in negotiation, learning, or creation? Because 90% of your cognitive energy is consumed by a biological machine that is obsolete. Your brain spends its primary cycles processing gravity, maintaining temperature, and regulating your heartbeat. For decades, you believed your mind was a tool for creating a life, but in reality, it is a tool for basic survival. It is a cage you have mistaken for a home. The CIA understood the key principle. To access the grid, the machine must not be improved. It must be bypassed. On page 13 of the McDonnell Report, the human body is identified not as solid matter, but as a complex configuration of electrostatic fields. You are a standing wave in a sea of infinite energy. You have likely suspected this your entire life, that this physical world is merely a heavy, slow-moving shadow of something far more volatile and vital. This is not intuition. This is physics. And for the operator, this becomes the foundation of remote influence. To take the first step, the protocol introduces the state of focus 10. Body asleep, mind awake. Most people experience this only in the seconds before death or in the deepest unconscious phases of sleep. The CIA learned to initiate this mode on command. When the body is off, the brain's electrical activity does not quiet down. It accelerates. Without the noise of physical senses, the mind reaches a state of absolute rigidity. Imagine a situation. You are in the middle of high-pressure negotiations. Your pulse spikes, your vision narrows, your palms sweat. At that moment, you have lost. You have become a slave to your biology. But a trained operator activates the energy conversion box. This is not meditation. This is a system purge. You take the physical sensations of fear, adrenaline, and chaos, and literally tear them out of your architecture, locking them in a non-physical container. Your body is neutralized. Your mind becomes a superconducting oscillator. You no longer react to the person across from you. You begin to dictate the frequency of the encounter. You become the quietest and therefore the most dominant force in the room. Here, intuition ceases to be a gift. It becomes a calculation. In a state of hemispheric coherence, you bypass the linear logic of the left brain and enter the holographic mode. Since the entire universe is a hologram, the future, or the hidden intentions of others, are not hidden. They are on the surface. They are simply frequencies your amateur radio has not yet tuned into. Top-tier analysts and military strategists use the click-out technique, a sudden, total download of information that bypasses months of research. In Focus 12, you do not think about a problem. You hold the vibration of the desired outcome. You align your frequency with the version of reality where you have already won. If your frequency is more stable and pure than the noise surrounding you, the environment will bend to your frequency. This is not magic. It is the law of resonant entrainment. The archives prove it. Those who mastered this protocol did not just predict the future, they appointed it. Intelligence agencies realized a fundamental truth that is still hidden from the masses. Physical distance is a system hallucination. On page 25 of the McDonnell Report, it is stated with surgical clarity: consciousness does not reside within the body. The body resides within consciousness. This changes the very physics of your reality. If you believe your goals or your results are out there, beyond your reach, you have already conceded defeat. You have agreed to play by the rules of the linear world, where you are merely a tiny point in space. Operatives use the Focus 12 protocol to dissolve the boundary between here and everywhere. It was not a journey, it was an expansion. When you stop searching for answers in the external world and begin to intercept them within the frequency grid of your own mind, you gain access to the information continuum. In moments of chaos or pressure, the gateway operator does not try to convince. He broadcasts a state of absolute rigidity. He becomes the dominant oscillator. Tune into the frequency of your objective. Stop visualizing the object. Begin transmitting its vibration. If you feel resistance, do not fight it. Shift your state to Focus 15, the point beyond time. There, your event is already resolved. Broadcast that resonance of victory back into the current moment. You are not changing the person or the circumstances. You are changing the matrix in which they exist. The gateway was never a place to hide. It was a laboratory for the soul. The CIA spent millions to weaponize these states, to create the super agent. But these archives were returned to awaken the operator within you. Now, you have the mechanics. You have the physics. You have the secret coordinates of your own power. You are no longer a passenger in a biological machine. You are the sovereign commander of the holographic grid. Command the noise. Stay fluid. Stay sovereign. Subscribe for more declassified insights and new discoveries.